Hi, this is Mrs. Ortega, and I'm going to be presenting Netiquette 101 for grades 1 through 3 today. Here's a quick instructional video that will go over the definition of netiquette and give the rules and a brief explanation of each. So sit back and enjoy the video.
Hi boys and girls. As we start to use our computers more and more in the classroom, it's important to learn how to use our computers. But also, it's important to learn how to be on the internet and be safe and responsible. So today, we are learning about netiquette. What is netiquette, you may ask? Let's watch a quick video to see.
Netiquette is a set of rules that encourages politeness and respect on the internet. It helps us relate better with other people while expressing our opinions and respecting those of others. It also helps us avoid misunderstandings and problems with other internet users. Also, thanks to these rules, we can protect our privacy and that of others.
Now that you know what netiquette is, we're going to just quickly discuss some of the rules. So some of the rules while you're online are communicating carefully, being respectful, not accepting strangers as friends, always being polite and positive, and being very careful to not cyberbully. Never giving personal information to anyone that you don't know. So we're going to go ahead and watch another video that will give a little bit more explanation on each of those.
You can surf the internet anonymously, which means that no one knows who you are, unless you tell them. Because of this, sometimes we don't know the people we're talking to, and we can unintentionally hurt them. We should remember that what we say on the internet can affect us in real life. This is why it's important to protect and take care of each other as users. But in order to do that, we have to communicate carefully. While online, we can give our opinion about any topic, but we must do it with respect and without offending others. It is important to write as clearly as possible so that we can be understood. Also, there are some things to keep in mind when sending messages. For example, did you know that when you write in all capital letters, you're shouting? An awkward situation, isn't it? Although they can be funny misunderstandings, it's good to know netiquette to avoid them. When you talk about others or tag them in your posts, it should always be to say something positive, never to insult or make negative comments. Do you know what it's called when someone misbehaves online with another person?
Yeah, it's called cyberbullying. It's awful. People who struggle from it have a very tough time.
You're right. That's why we have to treat others well when using the internet. We don't normally share personal information with people we don't know, do we? If we receive friend requests from people we don't know on social media, it's best not to accept them. When someone creates a social media profile, they may make up information such as their age or even use someone else's picture. Since we can't be sure of the identity of the people we're talking to, it's best to interact only with friends we really know. Lastly, it's important to know how to distinguish between our real-life friends and our virtual friends, so that we can know how to behave with each one of them. A real-life friend is someone that you know personally. For example, your classmates or those friends in after-school activities. You can talk to your friends online, also face-to-face. They're people who you can share what you like with or what you think. However, if you only know your friend virtually, they could eventually become your friend in real life. But it's also important to know that they can be people who are trying to trick you. That's why we have to be careful when communicating with them. For example, if you make virtual friends playing video games, never give them private information and avoid talking to them outside of the game. Also, if you're ever in doubt about the identity of the person you're talking to, ask an adult to help you find out.
I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope to help you understand the rules of netiquette.
Okay, so as the video stated, what is netiquette? Netiquette are the rules that we use when we're online, whether it's social media, a website, an application that you're using at school or at home. All those are forms of being online. Why is netiquette important to learn? To be safe and respectful while online. These are rules that need to be followed throughout all those different platforms that I mentioned so that we can remain safe and treat each other with respect. The rules that they went over in the video were communicating in a positive, polite, and responsible way, no cyberbullying, not accepting strangers, friends' requests, and never give personal information. We're going to be going into each of those a little bit more. First, we're going to talk about communication. We're going to go really deep into this one. So we have speaking carefully to avoid misunderstandings, not being rude. It can be hurtful when somebody is rude. Only leave positive comments on posts. And use emoticons to express emotion. As I stated, we're going to go into each of these. So first, misunderstandings. Words might have a different meaning to a recipient. So when you type out something that you're meaning in a certain way, when they're reading it, they might not take it the same way, and that can lead to misunderstandings. So it's really important to state what you're trying to say without leaving anything up for interpretation. Interpretation means where they'll take something and make it their own and not really what you wanted. They're going to take their own spin on what you said. So that's important to just make sure we're saying what we want to say. And lastly, read before sending. So anything that you send out, you want to make sure that you read it carefully, just to make sure there's no spellings, misspellings, and again, you're stating exactly what you're meaning to say. Don't be rude. All caps is yelling. Some can interpret caps as being surprised, which that can be okay as long as you've expressed that and they understand that. Otherwise, all caps can be a form of yelling. So it's important to either not use it or to explain how you mean it. Next, being rude to someone online can be hurtful. You say mean things, you will hurt somebody's feelings. And it's always good to think of it like, if you don't want that being said to you, then you shouldn't be saying it to them. To be a good friend. So that goes in one. That goes together. Being rude is not being a good friend. If you want to be a good friend, it's important to not be rude. Next is positivity. Always be kind online. If you're uplifting your friends, they're most likely going to be the same to you. So positive, kind words are always the way to go. Being respectful. Again, same thing. Being respectful to your friends, to your your adults, any adults, teachers, parents. If you're communicating with them through social media or online or emails, it's always important to be respectful. Also, whatever you're posting on social media apps could be viewed by others that might not be in your circle. So that's always another thing to keep in mind. Other people are reading this. So it's just a good way to keep in mind to just be respectful, because you never know who is reading what you're writing. Leave nice comments on social media. So if you have a social media platform and you want to leave comments, the rule of thumb is if you don't have nothing nice to say, then maybe you shouldn't say it at all. So leaving nice comments on social media, pictures or statements is always the best way to handle a situation. Treat others how you want to be treated. This is a great one. If you don't want to receive rude comments or negativity, then you shouldn't be putting that out there. So treat others how you want to be treated. Emoticons. Emoticons or emojis can be helpful to help show emotion in a conversation, more particularly in a text. You're texting people. It can be very short and very brief, and sometimes they can be misconstrued or misunderstood. So you want to use an emoticon or an emoji to express your emotion behind what you're saying. So it's a great way to add a positive note or a light note on a text. Emoticons also add fun when chatting with friends. It can be something silly, something fun. There's a lot of fun gestures, a lot of fun animals, food items you can send to your friends and have a lot of fun with emoticons. So they're a great way to connect with others. Cyberbullying, probably one of the most important rules. Never join in on cyberbullying. Never partake in it. If you happen to see it, it's important to report it to an adult. As many adults, if one adult doesn't do anything, you try the next adult. You always report anything and you never join in. You never want to be behind somebody being hurt or being mistreated. So always speak up against it. If you can, and it's safe for you, speak up against it. Tell the cyberbullies to stop. Call them out, but in a respectful way. Always remain respectful. Even if they're not, you can and you should. Just on a side note, cyberbullying can leave kids feeling lonely. So again, never join in, report it, and speak up against it so that you never have to partake in leaving a kid to feel lonely. You don't want to be that kid that's on the outside of bullying or the recipient of bullying, the one that's being bullied. So don't do it to somebody, and always put a stop to it if you can. Stranger danger. Don't approve friends' requests from strangers. If you don't know somebody, you're not sure, ask an adult, ask a teacher, ask a parent, ask somebody who can help you. Never approve anybody that you don't know. You delete it instantly. Don't talk to strangers outside of gaming. If you must make friends in gaming, then when you leave those gaming websites, don't carry them over into your social media accounts or through email or other forms of communication. Those are friends strictly in those gaming websites. Leave them there. Don't give strangers personal information. That kind of goes with the one above. Don't talk to strangers outside of gaming. So you don't want to give them your personal information. You don't want to give them access to your personal social media. You don't want to give them your email. Just strangers are for gaming, if you feel the need to do that. Otherwise, stay away from them. Don't communicate with them, and definitely don't give them any kind of information about yourself or anybody close to you. Online privacy. Never give personal information out. Never giving personal information out. If you receive something asking for personal information, you need to go through an adult. You need to ask your teacher or a parent if that is okay and why they're asking for that information. But you yourself as a child should never be giving out any type of personal information. Remember your passwords. Keep them safe and hidden from everybody besides yourself and a responsible adult that can help you access your accounts. Never share your passwords. Never provide them to anybody, friends or other relatives. Just an adult that is responsible for helping you. And don't share others' information. So if you come across somebody's information, don't share that as well. Here we are in our activities. We have an etiquette agreement, which we can go ahead and click on, and that will take us to a form, a Google form. By filling this out, the students will agree to all of these different statements about Netiquette. It's basically a pledge. They'll go through and they'll check mark, I agree, I agree. And by signing their name below here, they are pledging to it. They are agreeing to it. For our next activity, there we go. For our next activity, we have a Kahoot. So this is going to encompass both the second activity and the evaluation. I went ahead and put 5 questions for the activity and 5 questions for the Kahoot. So here is a quick preview of it. We enter our name and click go. They'll go through the series of questions and answering them about Netiquette. So basically everything that we've just reviewed over. So it's a great exit ticket or evaluation. And it's fun and engaging if the whole class can do it together all at once. What is Netiquette? A yummy treat, a website, a new book, internet safety rules. Okay, we'll click next. When playing with the whole class's responses or place scores will pop up, and they'll see where they're falling in terms of where their place first, second, third. Only the first 5, I believe, are posted. Cyberbullying is good. This is a true-false question, so they'll click false. It's a very fun and engaging game for them. I've played this a lot with my first graders. Who should I share my personal information with online? A stranger, no one, all my friends, whoever asks. We're going to click no one. Okay, so this game continues on for 10 questions. We'll go ahead and do the first 5. Using emoticons, emojis is helpful when talking online. True or false? We'll go ahead and select true. Another true or false. Using all caps means you are whispering online. True or false? I'm going to go ahead and answer incorrectly so you can just see. Okay. And as the game progresses, the points will vary depending on how the students answer. So it's really great. It's very interactive, which is not a good way to communicate. Being polite, being respectful, being rude, or using emoticons. Being rude. Another true false. If I see cyberbullying, I should report it to an adult. True. What should I do if a stranger sends me a friend request? Be their friend. Ignore it. Be rude to them. Get off the computer. I'll go ahead and click ignore it. Okay. And I believe looks like that might be the end. It usually gives a whole podium, but I've never played with just one. Oh, here it is, the podium, first place. Okay, so we'll go back to our screen. So that is the end of the presentation. Thank you.